You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me is my co-host, Chrissie. How are you today?
Zombie noises.
Breakfast burrito not sitting too well?
I am alright, Thad. How are you doing?
I have the strangest compulsion to lick the walls. Which, considering the fact that my house is over 100 years old, is probably not a good idea, because I'm sure there's at least one layer of lead paint there.
Oh yeah, at least. If I could have thought of a way, if this were a visual podcast, I would have licked the microphone, but that wouldn't have worked audibly, so...
Well, we would have heard it, but...
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't have been... It would have been gross instead of funny, so, you know.
Also joining us today, back again, is Alex Perry of Trek Core and Weekly Trek. Alex, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers, Carl Wonders and Chrissie De Clerck-Szilagyi. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10. And your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all of the shows on the network ad-free. Alex, did we forget about any news?
I don't think so.
So.
I haven't done an episode in a while, partially because of that fact.
Fair enough. I will say, on the Star Trek convention news front, it appears that Creation Entertainment's regional Star Trek conventions have been not as uniformly successful as they might have hoped, and a bunch of the conventions for next year were taken off the calendar.
Oh.
Alex and I both were at the New Jersey convention in Secaucus last weekend, and apparently the one that they did in Nashville earlier this year was basically a failure. It had very low attendance. And I think that made them rethink some of their strategy here. So they've removed a lot of the ones from next year. The one in San Francisco is still on the schedule for next year. And they had not yet scheduled the new one for New Jersey, but they did say at the New Jersey convention on Saturday afternoon, that they had enough attendance that day that they will be doing another one next year. So at the very least, San Francisco and New Jersey, I would not be surprised if Chicago also still happens, but I wouldn't hold my breath for the other ones like Orlando and Dallas and Nashville again.
Interesting.
So, if you were hoping to go next year, well, there will be others. STLV will obviously happen, and there will also always be other regional conventions. Creation is not your only option for conventions. All right.
Yeah, Paramount made sure of that, didn't they?
Yeah, GalaxyCon always has quite a lot of Star Trek guests.
GalaxyCon, yeah. GalaxyCon is not a specific franchise convention. It's basically a Comic-Con. GalaxyCon is the name they use, but yeah, they always have Star Trek guests. They have some nice regional ones. They're in areas that don't get a lot of other conventions. Like there's always one in Columbus, and there's one in Raleigh and Richmond. There are probably others, but those are the ones that...
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to that
San
one.
Jose.
I mean, I'm not saying Trekkies in Oklahoma obviously go to the Oklahoma City. I was saying personally, I would not be traveling to Oklahoma City unless like Avery Brooks was there or something.
Well, it's a bit of a schlep for you. It's not like you're local.
But if they, hey, GalaxyCon, Oklahoma City, if you announce Avery Brooks, I will go.
Yeah, everyone will.
Yeah, GalaxyCon can be a lot of fun. I went to the one in Columbus a couple years ago because it was the first convention that Jonathan Frakes did after COVID, and I had my shirt covered in
yes,
Jonathan Frakes heads that I wanted to get a photo with him.
Gotta do the shirt.
Yeah, so GalaxyCon's great. I can say, speaking specifically in the Mid-Atlantic region, we have AwesomeCon in DC, which is always, they usually have at least a couple Star Trek guests, and that's always a lot of fun. Obviously, there's New York Comic-Con, which will have an official Star Trek presence, probably until the end of time at this point.
Motor City Comic-Con, too, in Detroit. So.
Oh, yeah.
Which always falls on the weekend of the Medieval Conference, so I never get to go, but
that's a shame.
It's there. Yeah, that's professional versus personal development. I'm like,
Similarly to Oklahoma City, I will go to Motor City if they announce Avery Brooks.
Yeah, I understand. Detroit's not what it used to be.
No, I'm not saying Detroit is... I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to visit Detroit. I'm saying it's a bit of a
I know you weren't. Yes. Although, honestly, it's not that far from Columbus, relatively speaking.
You're right. And I don't... You'll note I said a couple years ago, I have not been back to Columbus.
I tease.
If they decide to do another official Star Trek convention somewhere, if it's in Detroit or anywhere, I'll go to it.
Hey. Yeah. Agreed.
I suppose that's some news. Sadly, Blue Bricks, the German Lego knockoff, which had a license for Star Trek sets and did a bunch of ships. I have a bunch of their ships. Has announced that their license has not been renewed and they will not be making any new sets or adding more stock. So what they have now, if you want it, go on their website and buy it now because it will not be available soon.
Yeah.
And get it before the tariffs kick in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which may be another reason for all of these things being an issue.
Yeah, although I wonder in Blue Brick's case what proportion of their sales went to the U.S. since they didn't officially have a retail presence in the U.S. They would ship to the U.S. And that's one thing. If you do want to buy Blue Bricks, I recommend buying a bunch of sets at once because they have a flat shipping rate no matter how many sets you buy. It's sad. It's going to be bittersweet because I have their advent calendar, which is a bunch of mini Star Trek ship models, which I'll be doing over the course of next month. And now knowing that there's no more, it's sad.
Maybe they're negotiating with Lego.
I see. That's my hope, but similar to Creation, that's not happening.
No.
The problem with Lego is that Lego has a Star Wars license from Disney. They have had a Star Wars license from Disney for like 20, well, starting with Lucasfilm and now with Disney for like the past like 25 years. And those sets make bank for them. And they would not want to dive into another big sci-fi franchise. And it's entirely possible that Disney would tell them they can't.
That is, yeah.
So I would not expect that to happen, unfortunately. All right, so
let's talk some Lower Decks.
Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 5, Starbase 80. The first appearance of an interrobang in a Star Trek episode title. Alex, what did you think this week? Also, what did Nutmeg think?
Oh, hello, Nutmeg.
Yeah, sorry, Nutmeg's there.
Never apologize for Nutmeg.
Nope.
I thought it was great. It was an episode that continued the sort of theme of the season around, the importance of being yourself and that being a good thing. But I thought it was really well done, and I I have been particularly enjoying any episode of Lower Decks that has been expanding and deepening its own world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I really enjoy the times when they tie into other Star Treks and they go and do other Star Trek things. But what's been really rewarding about the show as it's gotten longer in the tooth and they've sort of developed their own characters and places and races and things is when they continue building out their own world. And Starbase 80 was a throwaway punchline from I can't even remember which episode in season 2 it was first introduced in, but
damn, Starbase 80.
Yeah. and so it's like fun for them to build that out, right? Like now it's a more fully fleshed out Star Trek idea and concept, and a cool one at the same time.
I walked up to a guy at STLV this past year wearing one of these shirts, and I said, damn, Starbase 80! And he had no idea what I was doing.
What?
I was very confused. So was he.
Maybe he had too much to drink.
I don't know, or maybe somebody bought him the shirt. I don't know.
I was going to say, somewhere out there's some guy who's like, oh, my friends dragged me to this convention, and this guy came up to me talking about my t-shirt, and I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, Chrissy, what'd you think this week?
I thought this was a great episode. It has left me with some questions, which we will get to as we go forward. But I love the idea of there being somewhere that has this external reputation of being terrible, but they have taken that and turned it on its head and made it a place that is for redemption or just for people who are happy where they are and they're good with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I love that it's full of references to other things, both in and out of Lower Decks, because there's a ton of internal references and a ton of Star Trek in general references, and I love everything about that. Always do. I did think the anaphasic story was a little weak, if I'm perfectly honest.
MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like you're finally, after 30 years, bringing back the anaphasic energy possession. I feel like you could have leaned into that a little more.
It was all worth it to discover that it was like a lower decker anaphasic entity.
Yes, that part was good. I hope
beautiful.
so. They are dicks or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That part was great. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, I like that the episode starts off with them coming back from a away mission to a aquatic locale. And I love that we now just see that Mariner is just super nerdy and into the Starfleet stuff now. I love that.
Yeah. It's like she's found where she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's stopped doing the for lack of a better term, the too cool for school thing. You know? And I wish I could think of a better way to say that because I hate that phrase. But yeah, she's being a real Boimler, and it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to say I love that we now see people going onto the bridge in an emergency situation who haven't had time to change clothes.
It's very Star Trek Generations coded.
It is in that way, but it's also just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Like, one of my favorite things about Generations, which I love many things about Generations, is that they just hand their swords to a junior officer when they walk on the bridge.
Right. Yep. As though that's the most normal thing in the world to have done.
So they're on the bridge in their wetsuits, and the ship is out of warp, and turns out there's something wrong with the nav computer. It's a Dacian Ops, and it's shocking the water, which...
Yeah.
Wow.
Feels like a bit of a safety violation.
I think so. And that should have been our first clue when we see that the electrical discharge is bright green.
Watching it a second time, yeah, you definitely pick up on it right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so unfortunately the closest place they can go is Starbase 80.
Starbase 80.
Mariner does not want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a scene that I am amazed it took us 5 years to get to. Decontamination gel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check me out. I'm a total T'Pol over here.
Yeah. So good. So good. I had actually forgotten they hadn't done this.
Yeah.
Like, if you had asked me last year if they had done this, I'm like, I'm sure they did somewhere along the line. But...
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason they didn't is because it's hard to figure out, like, you need a story reason to do it, otherwise you're doing it just to do it, and then it's just a Family Guy type throwaway.
Right.
And so this was very well done, because it did feel like it felt like an organic... I mean, of course it was just to get them to do it, but, like, the explanation for why made sense, and so it didn't feel as... And I'm going to use gratuitous in the sense of gratuitous in the like Star Trek reference way rather than gratuitous in the decon chain.
It wasn't that. It wasn't like Enterprise, which was that kind of gratuitous.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't gratuitous.
All I'll say on that is I was 15 years old when Enterprise premiered, and it got my attention.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we were right in the appropriate age set.
Yep.
Oh
well.
And demographic that they were shooting for.
Yes.
Just part of why Enterprise was Enterprise.
Yeah, but we never got the different boy band every week.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. Think about who would have been involved in that. Okay, so put your mind back to the same era, NBC's American Dreams, right? And they had boy bands coming in. They had bands coming in and famous singers who were playing the famous singers of the 60s, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. So
I just had a thought. If they had done the boy band every week, would they have done the theme that week?
Ooh.
Never know. What a missed opportunity.
I could handle a Foo Fighters version of that. Or other bands that were big in the early aughts that I can't think of. Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, Bare Naked Ladies doing...
That would have been good.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Green Day. That would have been the other one. Oh, Green Day. Okay.
Don't want to be a Federation idiot.
Nope. And the Federation
well, they didn't have the Federation, so never mind. But anyway.
Oh, that album shouldn't hold up as well as it does. Okay.
But it does.
Oh, it does. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Ransom just, like, covering himself in the gel, putting it in his hair. I love it.
And he is extra decontaminated.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Needs that.
Just being conscientious.
Love that we call back to it later. He's like, all I smell is the gel.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Like T'Pol with the smell gel.
Yeah.
And yeah, we step into Starbase 80, and immediately I love that it is like the TOS Enterprise.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Love good classic 2260s design.
And yeah, so it's interesting. So I guess they they changed their uniforms since the last time we saw Starbase 80, what I find interesting. And they're like embracing the retro vibe, because they had TNG era utility jumpsuits last time, and now we're in the Enterprise era jumpsuits. So I find that interesting.
And for sale at the shop, there's Monster Maroons, and there's TOS style, and there's everything in between.
And
so.
Kirk and Spock's fedoras from A Piece in the Action Or on
I missed that. Oh,
I
love
did
it.
too, but Jörg Hillebrand misses nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the implication is that they're all wearing a real mismatch of stuff.
Yeah.
But they're
Some of
actually...
them are wearing Enterprise jumpsuits, some of them are wearing, more modern uniforms, some of them are wearing other kinds of throwbacks.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Well, it feels like when we go to engineering, they're all wearing the TOS, like, utility outfits.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah, which is why I think it's like supposed to be like a mishmash.
Yeah.
It's whatever they had on the shells from
Right. That makes sense.
over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just whatever fits whoever, since they don't have the replicators. Which means the implications of not having replicators go so far. There's
Yes.
laundry on that base. Somebody has to do laundry because they can't put it in the replicator. And also, I need to know how the food vendors are being supplied if they're not seeing ships on a regular basis from anywhere.
Their sweet trade deal with Akamai
I was
3.
about
I
to say.
guess.
Yeah. Maybe the Akamarians are doing the laundry, too.
Maybe. I don't think so. They'd be offended by that.
Well, if they're getting their food from Akamar, then I bet the Parthas is really good.
There you go.
Well, there was a whole restaurant for Parthas. I
Oh,
noticed
was
in the
there?
background.
Amazing.
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
I do love that, yes, the station is filled with Akamarian gangs. That is
Yeah.
such a deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, I vaguely... That's right. Oh, this is the group that was at war. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, yeah, now I remember. Okay.
Off the top of my head, I don't even remember the title of that episode. I just know it as the one where...
Vengeance Factor.
That's it. I just know it as the one where Riker hits on a serial killer.
Parthas Alayuta.
Exactly. Also, there's a scene... there's a scene in that episode which has one of the most egregious phaser shoots not where you're pointing at it moments in TNG.
That's 24th century technology for you, Thad. It knows where you're trying to shoot and compensates for it.
Smart phasers.
Yeah, exactly.
So
AI enabled phasers.
oh god, that's a terrifying thought.
That is a terrifying thought.
So on the one hand, I really enjoy everything about Starbase 80, but on the other hand, like, I'm like, come on, guys, you went to Starfleet Academy, you should be able to fix your gravity plating. Like, the fact that they need the Cerritos to do everything for them.
I took it as a lack of supplies, not a lack of information.
Okay.
Maybe like the alarms. That was a thing because Freeman just like interfaced her tricorder and fixed it. But then when you know what was going on with Gene after that, you almost feel like that was a setup.
Oh
anyway.
yeah, no, Gene absolutely set that up.
Right. So I think it's I if I had to guess, it's more supplies than know-how.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gene Jakubowski.
Mm-hmm. Voiced by Stephen Root.
Name.
Yes. Which...
Returning to Star Trek after 30-something
Yeah,
years.
which I did not realize. I had never known that he was the Klingon captain in Unification.
Yeah.
I did not learn until I think I first figured it out only a few years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually literally texted Alex while watching this, asking, is this the first time Stephen Root's been in Star Trek? And he then blew my mind.
I don't remember when I found out about that, but it had to have been... I don't know if it was when news radio was still on, but I remember like thinking there was a weird 6 degrees of separation because Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall was on an episode of Voyager, and Kids in the Hall is Dave Foley, and then you have Stephen Root who was on Next Gen, so that's why it sticks in my head. But it was good. He's good.
There should have been a, like, I believe you have my phase coupler line or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Stephen Root as Jakubowski is great.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay, do we feel like this is a Gene for Gene Roddenberry? Because I always expect to see more Genes in Trek in general, just as like nods, and there aren't.
I think that's probably why they don't do it, because it's...
Yeah, probably.
You're
I
probably
think
right.
that's probably why there aren't more Genes.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah,
like,
you're
oh,
right.
it's too obvious.
All right.
But he did have... I mean, you know, he... Like, the character design for Gene Jakubowski is not too far away from
Which is what
1990s
Yeah.
Gene.
which is what made me think of
Roddenberry.
that.
Yeah, no, that's certainly possible.
And they did give him that, like... It's not a Gene Roddenberry impression, it's Stephen Root.
Well,
Just doing a character, but it is that sort of, like, you know, slightly soft-spoken, folksy demeanor that that Gene Roddenberry was known for.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jakubowski's got to send them up to the arcade, although they don't know he's Jakubowski. It sure is lucky that Mariner and Ransom never actually used their comm badges the whole time.
Yeah.
They almost did at one point, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the uniform store with the Monster Maroon, and in the background there's one of the outfits from Justice. And
Yep.
what is the gray and pink, like, coat thing? Because I don't
Isn't that the...
That's Ruck from What a Little Girl's Made Of.
Oh,
Oh,
yes, it
okay.
is.
See, I looked at that and I was thinking the snowsuit in the Ascent. But that wasn't pink.
Well,
on
they
the
didn't have
inside,
any pink. Yeah, but yeah, I see what you're
so.
saying.
But the silver, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I also like that we've got the football security helmet from the TOS movies there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scant. There's a scant in the background as well. It's great.
Now I got to go look at this again. Yeah.
And there's Strange New Worlds outfits and Discovery Enterprise outfit as well. The proto Strange New Worlds outfit. I
didn't see that.
And there's a Klingon. There's a TOS Klingon outfit too.
Which
Right
there
behind
was
the
right next to the Monster Maroon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh well.
Yeah.
The uniforms of long dead men.
Retro. Vintage. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many little things here. It's ridiculous. They put so much effort into these, into these like tiny little scenes that are on screen for just a few seconds.
Yeah.
Because
I love.
they know people like us will do this.
Yeah, I love that they've got all these things hanging on racks, and then in the back is a mound of red shirts.
Yeah. I was actually, because the uniform that Tendi picks up, it looks like the not the comm badge, the logo has been like shot off.
Yes.
And I was like, why isn't that red? That should be red. So.
But yeah, no,
anyway.
the first shot that you see where you see the Monster Marine out front, like behind the TMP uniform on a mannequin, is just a pile of red shirts.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yep.
And yeah, this is when we start to discover the zombies that are licking everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that that Ransom and Freeman get into the turbo lift, and it doesn't understand them, and it takes them to the maintenance labyrinth. I love that the maintenance labyrinth is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like one.
Yeah.
It's definitely labyrinthian. Which, like, kind of works if it's not engineering, because we see engineering, but there's, like, that vibe of the bowels of a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
And now they're stuck on the stairs to go 30 stories up on stairs.
This reminded me of Ghostbusters. I was kind of disappointed one of them didn't say, like, tell me when we get to level 25 I'm going to throw up or something like that.
I am reminded of the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse on Hatteras Island in North Carolina, which I visited once on vacation in the Outer Banks, and it is the tallest lighthouse and the tallest and oldest lighthouse in continuous operation on the East Coast. And of course, it's just a circular stairs all the way to the top, and I felt like I was gonna die when I got to the top.
Oh yeah, miserable. Miserable.
I mean, the view was great, but I definitely spent a lot of time just sort of standing there on that railing, trying to figure out whether I was gonna, need to worry about going back down the stairs or not.
Going down's easier.
No, I meant was I wasn't sure if I was gonna live.
Oh.
Yeah, no, going down is a lot easier.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
It was a workout.
Yeah. Good for your glutes.
The best part was that I was there with a friend, and we had actually biked there a couple miles from the town where we were staying. we were a bit slower on the trip back.
I went on a trip through the national parks as a geology student, and there was one hike that was it was a really steep hike, and I was the last one up of the group. And then I heard about the last time they had done the trip, which was, I think, like 3 years previously or something like that. The first people up at the top was this couple who chain smoked the whole way up, and it's just like, yeah, okay.
Impressive, actually.
I'm like, that's, yeah. People are weird.
Yeah, so, yes, the long stairs, but back to our ensigns. Everyone's become infected. Rutherford's infected. Tendy's infected. And Boimler tries to reach his ensigns and discover they're infected.
They're infected, yep.
So we go and we meet the doctor.
Oh my god.
What's with your doctor? Oh, he gets that a lot. He's British.
That was beautiful. That was just, yeah. Yeah.
Love a return of the Tarchanan parasites.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We haven't talked about Cassia Nox.
Oh, I don't, yeah.
But my favorite Lower Decks joke in a long time is the one where they think because she's Elorian she must be really old, and she says I'm in my 30s, and Mariner says a young Elorian is just a regular person. Which I thought was hilarious, because it's, with the exception of the weird Picard season 2 stuff, the previous appearances of Elorians, the only thing that was different about them was because they were old and wise.
And it is interesting, like, why did she bring up that she's an Elorian about why she's good at fighting? Like, what is...
Yeah, that was kind of... I'm like, okay, so she's saying she's watching her and she's listening and she sees her moves before she does them, maybe? I don't know, but
I have no idea. But yes, a young Elorian is just a regular person is great.
Yeah.
And we cut back to Ransom and Freeman, and they have come up to the level with the arcade, and we get the standoff with the Akamarians, who then just give them a bucket of tokens. Love it. And this arcade is amazing. I want to play all of these games. Ferenghi's Fortune. Just everything. Cardboard Chaos. There's a Romulan game. It looks like it's... that's what Jakubowski is playing. It's like Romulan Space Invaders, where he's playing... He's a Valdor class ship destroying Starfleet ships.
It is exactly that.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
And there's an arcade. There's a machine with a koala in the background.
Oh, Death Game.
Yeah. Just love everything about this. I want this to be at like the next Star Trek convention I go to. It's just the Star Trek arcade.
do that. Yeah. Oh, the cardboard game is fire versus cardboard.
Oh, fire versus cardboard. Okay.
It looks like a flame.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it is Cardboard Chaos is the title.
Right. Well, maybe it's a cardboard flame.
Or fire. Yeah, that would make it's. I don't know what the reference to that is supposed to be, but it's fun regardless.
I don't either. Yeah, somebody tell us if
the captain's chair game. That reminds me a lot of the actual arcade game, the Starfleet strategic bridge simulator or whatever it was called, something like that. Yeah, we figured out what's going on ish with the zombies. There's some sort of signal being sent through the comm badges. And I like how they're able to grab jets because he's just riding the little Targ.
Yeah. The Targ horse. The penny Targ horse.
And they're back on the ship, and I love it because it's so dumb. The auto-destruct going on and off as Phillips goes... And we have Livik destroying the wiring for the doors, so we get the Livik moment.
Yeah, I like that.
And Chaz takes one for the team.
Yeah, I love how he's got the Wolverine corn dogs.
Chaz lives to dog another day. So this is where we find out the source is Cetacean Ops. The whales are possessed by the anaphasic organism, which we haven't specifically said it, but if we've made some references, this is not the first time we see an anaphasic organism possess someone in Star Trek. The famous instance, of course, is Sub Rosa with the Scottish sex ghost.
Yep, a little more than just possession happened in that episode.
Romance novel style possession.
And I love that to defeat it, all they end up having to do is knock them out, and then it hacks it up like a hairball. It's great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't. Did they ever say which one?
I don't.
They didn't
know.
say if it was Matt.
It was Matt or Kimolo. Is that the name?
Yeah, Kimolo. Yep. Because I ran it back a couple times.
They're the same rank, aren't they? So can we even tell?
Yeah, there's no way I don't tell the difference. Not to be speciesist, but no, I can't tell the difference between the two.
Of course, now someone is gonna come after us and say, it's very clear that the dorsal fin is 5 centimeters shorter. They don't even have dorsal fins, so it's fine. But actually, they probably do. They're just under the shirt.
I wouldn't put it past the animators to use the exact same model, and I also wouldn't put it past the animators to have a very slight difference that you're supposed to tell the difference between the two.
Yes.
So, yeah. But anyway, it's one of them.
My favorite part about everyone coming back to their senses is Boimler, grabbing at his tongue, Ugh! Yeah, so we find out that the anaphasic organism is named Clem. He's sorry for the trouble he's caused, and he's just a lower decker, and it was overwhelming, and his bosses can be real dicks. So he's just going to join Starbase 80.
Yeah. Which reinforces the whole, it being a place for refugees isn't the right word. Place for
misfits.
Misfits, there you go.
And they fix the gravity and engineering. Love the console that just falls.
Yeah.
And we realize that they've never talked to Freeman and Ransom, and they're about to fight an enormous bat.
Yes, in a scene very much like when we meet Ripper.
Yes.
This whole thing, I loved the music having such a horror movie vibe for the first part of it. It was so well done. So well done.
Look out for the claws, Captain. The claws! And that's the end of Starbase 80. A fantastic episode. I love so much about this.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So here's my question that you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm just going to go with it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't anybody on Starbase 80 know Mariner?
I was wondering that.
Yeah, and we have a very specific drop of Freeman talking about the alternate universe, her alternate universe self, who was running Starbase 80, and we don't know why. And this does not look like the Starbase 80 that we saw when Mariner was on Starbase 80. So I'm wondering if this is another spatial glitch that has brought us to the wrong Starbase 80. Which might just be me overthinking it. But.
That might be, or is it like an internal reference to the fact that we often will see inconsistencies in Star Trek from season to season?
Oh, well, now that just makes more sense.
I mean, she wasn't there for very long.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
And it's a big starbase, and we only saw a couple of people. So I would assume it's just that she was not ultimately there long enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
To make much of an impression on anybody. Because she basically got there and then immediately quit Starfleet.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know. This whole, like, jumping between various universes has got me intrigued. And I keep trying to make connections that are probably not there. So.
All right. Well, are there any other topics from this episode that we haven't covered yet?
I think so.
Okay.
A fun episode of Lower Decks.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In that case, Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can listeners find you online? Do you have any work you want to mention?
I'm doing the Lower Decks reviews every week at trekcore.com. You can also find my weekly Star Trek news podcast, Weekly Trek, at Weekly Trek, and available also on trekcore.com.
All right. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not licking the walls?
Yes. In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with Szilagyi here on the BQN. That's that short history podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. And I'm happy to chat about our shows on the BQN Collective on Facebook. And I'm on the various socials except Twitter at the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics. My account still exists on Twitter because I don't want it to get taken, but I'm not on there anymore.
Same.
So, yeah. Thad, where can people find you when you're not scrounging together a uniform out of 2 centuries worth of designs?
I mean, that's what cosplay is, really.
It is.
Best place to find me is probably on Blue Sky these days. I am at tyrannicus.bsky.social. I am like Chrissy, I am technically still on Twitter, but not really. And I'm on various other socials also at Tyrannicus, but Blue Sky is where I spend most of my time. It's my new default doom scrolling app.
Doom scrolling.
You can also hear me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl called License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C like the British do it, where we started out talking about James Bond and then now we're talking about other TV and movies that we watch. We're currently going through Columbo.
And don't forget about all of our other great shows here on the BQN. Here's a recording of Amy to tell you all about them.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin, and a guest, as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissie and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissie and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Trexperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Calvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the T-Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you very much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
And if you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on the various socials excluding Twitter at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcasts. You can also talk about any and all of our BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the 6th episode of the final season of Lower Decks, of Gods and Angles. Until then, we bid you peace and long life.